Okay, I'm gonna walk you through on how to do a sky replacement. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and open your photo. Make sure I get the right one. That's not it. Hold on. Make sure we have the right one. There we go. There it is. I just missed it. Okay. So this is your photo. It would actually be easier if you had not already colored this, but we're going to work with it anyways. It can be done. So the first thing I'm going to do, and you can ignore this first part if you had not already colored this. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I would do. Is I'm going to go ahead and select everything that's blue. And if I push shift, I can hold down and select more in between these smaller areas. Like that. And I'm going to push delete. And it's going to say contents, and I'm going to push color. And it's going to ask me for a color. And I'm just going to put white because that's what I want it as. I want it as white, and then I'm just going to push OK. And it's going to actually take all that back to white. You can see some places in her hair. So I'm going to go in and select those. Okay, let's do it this way. Let's start over. Like I said, this would be much easier had you not already colored it, but it can be done. So you don't have to do this. You could just do it over, but the way I like to do it sometimes is just this way. So all right, so we've got this back to white like it had never been colored. We're going to deselect and we're going to zoom out. Okay, so had you not colored, this is what your picture would look like ideally. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to open a picture of a sky that we want to replace back there. And I've got this lovely folder full of skies that I pick. Okay. And let's see. I want a real pretty one. Maybe something like this. And I'm going to open it. And it's going to open in another folder here. Or another tab here at the top. It's named Summer Sky. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to my toolbar on the left, and I'm going to push the one that looks like 4 arrows pointing in all directions. This is your move tool. And I'm going to click it, and I'm going to click this picture, and I'm going to hold that down, and I'm going to drag it back to this other picture. And it's just going to lay it right on top of that. And this photo is a little big, so I'm going to edit and go to transform. I'm going to scale it to make it back where I want. If I hold shift, it's going to hold the proportions without distorting them. So I kind of want to bring it down a little bit, and then I'm just going to move it back over here. And when I get it about where I want it, I'm just going to push the check mark, and that's going to put it over the picture. Over here where it says normal, I'm going to move that to multiply because it's got a lot of small areas. I'm going to zoom that in. And so this is what it would look like. If you go down here underneath your layers, there's like a box with a circle in it. That's your mask box. It adds a layer mask to it, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to click that, and now we have a layer mask there. So with layer mask, if you click your brush tool and you have it on black here, it will take away like this. If you have it on white, it will add back. But in this specific instance, we want to take away. So I'm going to go back to my black, and I'm going to turn my hardness up a little bit so that I get some crisp edges and I'm not missing places. And I'm just going to start removing this. And I really want to make sure that I get it off the buildings and their faces and their clothes, their skin tones. I could have done this under a normal and left the blue that was there in the beginning, and I will show you that right quick as well. Okay, and I've got some places that I've went over, and I'm going to go and I'm going to use my white, take my brush size down, and I'm going to add those back in. Okay, so we've got a blue sky there. So I can take my opacity down some to help that blend. Your opacity is right here. You go back up, take it back up to 100 so you can see. We're going to go on that layer, and where it says opacity up here, I'm just going to pull it down a little bit, and then I can flatten that image, and it's going to be one image, just like that. So I'm going to save that as a number 2. And I'm going to revert, and I'm going to show you the other way to do this. It won't let me revert because I already saved it. There it goes. I'll just open a new one. Anywho, so the other way to do this, if you didn't want to remove that had you already colored it, because we all do it, we're going to go ahead and pull the sky back over to our photo, just like we did here. We're going to go up to image, no, edit, I'm sorry, transform, and scale. We're going to zoom out so we can see the edges. We're going to push shift, grab your edges and pull them in, just like this, and we're going to pull it over. When we get it about like we want it, we're going to push our check mark. Okay, and we're going to leave this on normal this time, and we're going to add a layer mask just like we did before, and I'm going to turn the opacity down so that I can actually see through it, so I can see what I need to color over, and then I would just start coloring just like we did before. Basically just want to make sure that your sky is not overlaying anything important, and you will find that sometimes you miss places. You'll see that no one else will see. That's generally the way of it anyways. And what I'm doing here is just kind of dotting. The multiply helps it to lay in between items really well. Normal does not. You have to manually adjust and paint those in. Okay, so now we think we've got it done pretty well. So what we'll do is we'll turn it back up all the way to see if we've missed anything. See, we've kind of got a haze going on here, so we need to clean that up. It's not bad, it's just a little bit. Alright, and then when we get that straightened up, we can just turn our opacity back down to just how bright or dark. You can even push Control U, or let's do this a different way. Go up to Image, Adjustments. Let me get to the picture. Image and Adjustments, and go to Hue and Saturation, and we can even change the color or the tint. We can change how bright or how light it looks, and this just helps it to blend how dark or how light. It helps it to blend with your photos when you do this, to kind of adjust it to make it look like it should actually be there. So, and while you're done, so either way those would work. You can either use it on normal mode. When I have a lot of trees and things like that, I tend to use multiply because it's a lot harder to get in between those small areas to get your clouds to fit. Anything else, I generally use normal, like a portrait. And this is how you replace any background in Photoshop. You use it the same exact way, whether it's a background on a portrait, whether it's grass or skies or anything. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll try to get them answered for you. If I can't answer them, to where you understand what I'm saying, because some Photoshop can be kind of complex, I'll make you another video, and we'll just go from there.